From the air, it appears to be a very symmetrical racetrack here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. A half mile around, similar length straightaways, similar radius corners, and similar bank corners. But that is not the case. When this track was paved for the first time in 1967, stakes were moved, as legend has it, and turns 1 and 2 completely different than turns 3 and 4. A much more narrow entry, a much more sharp entry into turn number 1. Bugsy Stevens told us on our Bottom Shot podcast it's his favorite corner in all of his racing career. Turn 1 at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Banked at 9 degrees, 51 feet wide. And when they exit turn number 2, it finally widens out to the 500-foot back straightaway. And that's where Bonssa Tufa picks it up down in turns 3 and 4. A much different end here at Stafford.
Kyle, a couple decades ago, the bottom shot move was known as a turn 1 move. But over the last several years, we've seen it happen here in turn 3. Some of the boldest dive bombs you'll ever see. And part of it is because you have a little bit more room to work with here in turn 3. You had this pit lane access road, so you have a couple inches more asphalt to work with. So you see guys really use the apron here. But here in turn 3 and 4, it's a little bit flatter than 1 and 2. It's the same width, but it's 7.5 degrees instead of 9 degrees. So it's a little bit flatter, but it's also not as tight of a turn as 1 and 2. So you see a lot of these guys enter in on the apron. They try to use that apron as much as possible. You'll see them have the left side on the apron and the right side on the racing surface, trying to de-wedge the car, try to loosen it up a little bit if they're tight. We've seen a lot of crazy action coming off of 4. We've seen some gnarly crashes over there. That wall comes at you so fast and you're trying to get as much speed off the corner. Turns 3 and 4 is a decent amount different than 1 and 2, and that's what makes the setup so hard for teams and what makes this track so difficult. That's why they call Stafford a driver's track, because each end is different, and the front straightaway itself is 50 feet longer than the back stretch. So there's so many differences between each side of the track that it shows why it's an accomplishment to get the setup right and to nail it and win here at Stafford Speedway. So next time you come to a track, now you know the difference between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You'll have a little bit more appreciation about what it takes to win here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.